It is now my pleasure to introduce our commencement speaker. Chief Camargo joined the Army when he was 19. Special Forces was his choice and expertise. In September 2008, he was on his third tour in Afghanistan, and during a combat mission in the mountains near Kandahar, enemy snipers attacked them, shooting Chief Camargo in the neck. The bullet paralyzed him from the shoulders down. Chief Camargo is still active duty and proudly wears his Army uniform whenever he can. He loves to mentor other wounded warriors. Maintaining his camaraderie is simply another one of his missions, he says. His days are filled with intensive physical therapy and treatments and spending time with his wife, son, and daughter and feeling their kisses on his face. We are honored to have him speak today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Army Chief Warrant Officer 3, Romy Camargo.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Just like I was introduced, my name is Chief Warrant Officer 3, Romy Camargo, and I'm an active duty Special Forces warrant officer with 18 years in U.S. Army. During the last assignment in 2008, I was second in command of a multinational force in Afghanistan. And for the past 4.5 years, I've been doing rehabilitation daily, for my injury. I was honored when Sheriff G asked me to talk about leadership to the Rising Stars. I wasn't exactly sure about what the Rising Stars was, but it sounded good. Now that I know, I'm even more honored to speak to a group of caring and dedicated students and young Americans. You should all be proud to be here, and I'm even more proud to be talking to y'all on your graduation day. Leadership can be a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Some think you earn it, some think they deserve it. There are many books, manuscripts, and dissertations written about leadership, some with scientific calculations to define it. The theories and conversations about what makes a great leader and how to become a great leader can be overwhelming. For me, it boils down to this: when in charge, take charge. Always lead by example and lead from the front. My journey to becoming a leader began many years ago when I watched my older brother graduate the Army Airborne School. I was in middle school, about 12 years old, and I remember thinking to myself as I saw him parachute out of the airplane, and this is what I want to do. That's what I want to do. I believe the seeds of learning to be a leader began really to grow in high school. I was a good student, but a better athlete. I was co-captain and captain of the wrestling and swimming teams. Playing sports in high school took commitment and dedication. Two of the ingredients of becoming a good leader. You had to hit the books. And in between, there was practice and meets. It demanded a worth ethics, a vital component to learning to be a leader. As a leader in the wrestling team, I was taught to counsel my teammates, praise them when we won, and pump them up when we lost. It was about motivation, yet another key to leadership. I was learning all of this in my formative years, and it would pay off later. My years in high school and then in the military have been centered on supporting a team, be it a bunch of wrestlers or an ODA of Special Forces operators. Train, mentor, and motivate. All of this applies if you're a teenager, a soldier, or whatever in life. I believe a good leader, no matter what area, enjoys the role. Being a leader in high school and as a young ranger in the military carried certain prestige. There was many demands and expectations, but it was gratifying to know that my peers looked up to me because of what I could do on the mat, in the pool, in the locker room, and on the training field. Perform, motivate, and mentor. And lastly, never tell someone to do something that you would not do yourself. With the dream of being a soldier still in me, I enlisted in the Army after graduation from Christopher High School. With the foundations of a strong work ethic and success as a student athlete, served me well on early in the military. I was stronger mentally and physically. Early on in the Army, I was not centered on making it a career. But with age and responsibility, I realized the structure of the Army, particularly the Airborne Rangers and Special Forces, was just a ticket for me. I knew I could be a leader of soldiers, and I knew my voice could count and make a difference in times of life or death. Many adjectives are used to describe a leader. Courageous, passionate, driven. One of the most important attributes is a leader who leads for the team, not for the glory. A leader who always seems to seek the limelight will ultimately be blinded by the glare of publicity. Since the wars began in 2001 and 2003, we have seen leaders born and made out of necessity. Combat requires it. Combat leaders learn to adapt even in the heat of battle. Leaders sustain their performance through training, skill, and instinct. The best combat leaders all have one thing in common. They lead from the front. They share the same burdens as their soldiers. They never spare themselves. They never ask soldiers to do something they would not do themselves. And in combat, physically place themselves in the line of fire, shoulder to shoulder with the soldiers under their command. Get some water real quick. My time came in September 16th, 2008, when I placed myself in the line of fire, shoulder to shoulder with my teammates. I was in Afghanistan, stationed at a fire base in Zabul province. I was the assistant detachment commander. My rank was a Chief Warrant Officer 2. A mission that I had planned was disapproved because of helicopter issues. So we opted for a civil affairs mission. That meant going to the nearest village, approximately 6 kilometers away from our fire base, to help the people. We had medical personnel to treat their villagers, and we had a veterinarian that was able to take care of their animals. A large construction vehicle we were using to help construct a road for the village tipped over and became an obstruction and mission hazard. With that, the civil affairs mission was halted, and we had to blow the vehicle in place. Once this was done, we all prepared to head back to the fire base. We were ambushed just outside the village by mortars, machine guns, and rocket-propelled grenades. I told my interpreter, who was a 65-year-old Afghan-born American citizen, to take the front seat in the Humvee. I assumed the position in the Humvee's bed and started directing our counterattack with grenades and gunfire. When I reached down for more ammo, I felt a jaw-rattling punch in the back of my neck. One of my teammates yelled, "Chief been hit," Chief's been hit. Then I passed out. 3 days later, I woke. I was on the plane ride from military hospital in Germany, heading to Walter Reed Medical Hospital in Washington, D.C. That's when my brother, who was with me on the plane, had told me I had been shot. Things happened slowly for a while. I can't recall first time hearing I was paralyzed. But I can tell you this. Once I learned how to breathe again without a machine, I began to stabilize myself mentally. That came through the Lord, my family, my Special Forces teammates, and I believe my training as a leader kicked in too. I told myself I have to take charge of my situation as best I can. I need to learn everything about my injury, my condition. I needed to be a leader for myself. Soon I began to lead my own rehab. I would tell the nurses what to do that was best for me in my particular condition. I became proactive in my therapy. I took charge of my condition. Remember, when in charge, take charge. Over the years, I've become a fighter for our wounded veterans. I'm purpose-driven to make sure that as best I can, that our wounded warriors get the care they need and deserve. Remember, never tell someone to do something that you will not be able to do yourself. People ask me, how do I cope with this injury? I tell them that the body will break down faster than the mind. My body just got a jump start on things. But those who know me know who I was, who I am, and who I will be. That will never change, no matter if I have to roll around in this chair for the rest of my life. I go to church every Sunday carrying faith that will always sustain me. I wake up every day with a thank you to God for keeping me alive and giving me another day to be with my family. To be so proud of our first responders and our troops deployed all over the world. In closing, please know that I want all of you to remember, never give up on anything. Live your life to the fullest potential. Be yourself, be honest, be faithful. Know your limitations, but never limit what you can know and what you can do. Thank you for taking the time to listening to me. God bless all of you. God bless the sheriffs and policemen across the USA, the United States Special Operations Command, the United States Army, and the United States of America. Thank you.
We want to thank you for your service and your sacrifice for a great nation, and on behalf of the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, we would like to thank you for your support of the Sheriff's Rising Stars program.